Good morning. Today will be the last episode in the forest getting rained on by fruit. Actually, I'll probably end up making more here whenever I come back to my hometown. Oh my, that's violent. I'm just gonna get pelted on the head by one of these at some point. But anyway, I'm driving back to Cleveland as soon as I've got this video edited. So by the time you see this upload, I will probably be on the road. I'll probably be past Fort Wayne, up to Sandusky, Toledo, somewhere around there by the time this goes live. I'm feeling better, more energized today, ready to go get them. I want to respond to some comments today. I've gotten some nice comments on the last two episodes. I'm glad that there are a handful of people here from the main channel that are looking for a little something extra. It's a little secret thing for now. I haven't posted this on the main channel. No cross promotions at the moment. I'm just letting it ride. I got an extremely nice comment yesterday. Maybe one of the most impactful comments I've gotten in a while. It's a long one, but I'm gonna read the whole thing. From Lyndon Slot. Hopefully I pronounced that right. You were one of my main inspirations for diving into photography. 1 week ago, I spent all my money on a Sony Alpha A6100. First off, 6100, good camera. I'm shooting with the 6600. I would have bought like a 64, but I wanted the little bit of an extra battery on the 66, and I found a good deal. It's been the most incredible experience ever since then. Photography is such a beautiful art, and when I've only had my phone to shoot on, I didn't realize how much I love it. Thank you for inspiring me. In your $0 camera video, you said, "Limitations are everything. Limitations cause innovation. Limitations fuel learning." That's been my motto for the last few months. Strange as it may seem, it's really why I got a camera. I figured I'd done everything I could with mobile photography, but at the same time I wanted to try something new. I've taken so many photos with my phone. The folder with all my photos is over 100 gigabytes. That's impressive for photos. I can easily generate 100 gigs of 4K video for a shoot, but photos, that's wild. And I felt like I gotten to a point where those limitations were no longer forcing me to innovate. I know what you mean. It's tough to know when the right time to upgrade is, but it's kind of a feeling-based thing. A good tip I've heard is when you're upgrading, upgrade for a specific purpose, because when you're getting lost in camera shopping and watching all the review videos, it's easy to lose the plot and be like, oh, well, for an extra $200, I could get this one that has all these features. But really, you got to focus in on what you were looking for. Like when I bought this Sony A6600, I got it used for like $800. And as I'm watching reviews, I'm like, oh, I want the FX30 or whatever, because as I'm comparing and contrasting, I'm like, oh, it's so much better, whatever. But the real reason I'm upgrading is to get better autofocus. The autofocus was my number one consideration. And so I'm like, I could spend less than half the money and still get that rock solid autofocus. Upgrading from a phone to an A6100, I think is a very, very good choice. Having your first interchangeable camera, interchangeable lens camera, an E-mount. Sony E-mount's going to be so versatile for you. You're going to be able to get a, upgrade to an A7R in a couple of years or something like that, and start using full frame stuff, and you don't have to switch mounts. I knew how to edit the raw files. I knew where and when to use my only 2 focal lengths on the iPhone he's talking about. I knew how to frame my shots. Auto mode was a hindrance, preferred to be forgotten about. True. Now with this new camera, I'd been thrown into a whole new world of limitations. I had to figure out what focal length to use, how to frame my shots all over again thanks to the variable focal length, how to use aperture to change my photos. In a strange way, these expanded horizons allow me to learn and innovate more since I spent so much time with my previous camera system. I still have my phone, it still works the same, but at the time I bought my camera, it had been 15 months since I bought it. I'm sure I could still learn more with the phone. It was a time for a change though. I'm broke and couldn't be happier. Thank you, Evan, for inspiring me. That is one of the best comments I've received recently. I'm broke and I couldn't be happier. On my desk in my studio in Cleveland, I like to write stuff with markers on my desk sometimes as little reminders. And one of the things I I have written down there that's stayed there for a while is you don't need much money to do what you need to do. It's a reminder that all these ambitions that I have, all these creative projects that I want to do, for the most part, I don't need much money to do them. And it sounds like Lyndon here has that idea worked out. Keep going, keep shooting, keep making stuff. Thank you for the comment. People don't realize like how impactful comments are for smaller channels, because, you know, on the commenter side, it feels the same if I comment on, you know, a Linus Tech Tip video with 2 million views versus commenting on any other video. But, you know, anybody with less than like 100,000 subs even is probably still reading all the comments. And legitimately, you have no idea how much fuel it gives me hearing people say that like I could help inspire them in any way. Because like reading this comment specifically, like when I read that, you're me, and that's not some ego trip being like, oh, I see a younger me in you. No, literally, you are me. Like, that's just, you're a dude just shooting on a phone and then picking up his first camera. Like, that's where I am. I don't feel like I'm that far from that. So it's amazing in the age of the internet being able to literally just shoot some crap on a crappy camera and put it out there, and then be able to inspire other people in the same position as me. 50 years ago, I would have had to had a whole successful career before like landing a TV show to be able to impact people in any way. Maybe if I was born a generation before I would be aspiring to be a school teacher, not a YouTuber. But it's amazing now how much of an impact you can make with very little tools and funding. If you get bored of photography, Lyndon, start shooting some video. That's another crazy part of this comment to me. Is starts with, you were one of my main inspirations for diving into photography. It's so cool hearing that, because I don't even shoot photography. Like, I shoot video. And that's a cool thing to hear, because like that's one of my biggest goals for the channel, is not being tied to any specific niche of like I don't want to be a woodworking channel specifically or a filming channel specifically, but I want to be the goal is to like give people some energy to go out and pursue whatever it is they're doing. And that's why I talk in general terms in a lot of my videos, and talking about the creative process in general rather than specific things. And I don't really make tutorial content because I'm trying to stay general. And so it's very cool to see that kind of taking place a little bit. So again, thank you for the comment. It's inspiring me to get up and go today, to remember that my work on these videos is not futile, and that the numbers on the screen are people, and that, you know, I'm doing things that matter, I guess. I was going to respond to some other comments, but I've recorded for long enough at this point. I want to keep these around, 4 to 7 minute mark. Anyway, crank out a quick edit on this one and hop on the road to Cleveland. I'll see you tomorrow in a different setting.